Good morning to you. I am back home. Aren't you so excited? And I have filmed my videos for the day. I was like really dragging earlier. I don't know if it's, I didn't go get any coffee from Starbucks. I just got up late and slept in, which was really nice. And, but like when I was like setting up to do my videos, I just was like so tired. I was like, I don't even think I'm back into the mode of things yet, if that makes sense. So I've just been kind of like cleaning up around the house and stuff like that, putting stuff away, especially like in our kitchen. Before we leave, I always kind of like things straightened up because I don't like to walk back into a messy house. Are you guys like that? So the house is really pretty clean. I'm getting ready to, so what have I done today? Well, I'll tell you. Hold on a second. I'm plugging the cords. I went to, well, I got up and then I filmed videos. Ugh. And then I just went to Einstein Bagels and I got 2 bagels. And then I went to the grocery store to get Alex some veggie chips. And I also, he wanted some burritos. I forgot to get those. So he's gonna get them on the way home. And then I got some potato salad and some cheese and some more chips. We're gonna order my food for the Octavia thing tonight or tomorrow so that I can start that diet. Well, as soon as my food gets here, so yeah. But I have all my leftover treats from our trip yesterday, so I'm going to eat those tonight. And I'm having such a hard time putting these cords back. Okay, so now everything is cleaned up and settled. I'm getting ready to go pick up the pups in a second. Boo and Tucker got their grooms today. Well, PB got a bath, but, and I went through all the mail. Here's Alex's mail. These peanut butter M&Ms. So good. But, here's my little treat bag. I would not get these salted caramel peanuts. They're not good. But look what came in the mail today. My Jeffree Star Thirsty palette, and I got 2 lip scrubs. I'm giving that palette away after I do the unboxing. And then my Creepy Crate. So I'll be doing this tomorrow on my BookTube channel. I love the Creepy Crate. It's so much fun. These are the veggie chips. Well, these are wavy. Alex doesn't necessarily like the wavy ones, but they never have just the regular chips that he likes. And then we're gonna watch Pose, and we're gonna watch RuPaul's Drag Race. And then he'll probably catch up on his shows, and I'll take a little bit of a nap or something. I don't know. I was thinking about maybe doing a live stream later. We'll see. Yeah. So the house is straightened, and I'm off to get my dogs. I can't wait. Oh my God, I'm so excited to see them. Alex's brother's friend left the house like super clean. It's like very clean. Anyway, so yeah, and I have all of these books that I have to go through because those are my books I was going to read. I'm a little bummed out. I found out that BookTubeathon, which is like my favorite readathon to do every year, it is starting the weekend that we're going to be in Connecticut. So I don't know how I'm going to do it. I'll make it work somehow. Anyway, my nose is itching. God, Indiana allergies. I forgot all about the allergies as soon as I walked back up. Our entire walkway, which was so beautiful, is like overgrown with grass right now. So we're going to have to deal with that. But yeah, it's good to be home. I'm sad that I'm not on vacation anymore. I miss being on vacation, but you gotta come home. And I am super excited about going to get my dogs. So I'm gonna go get my dogs in just a second, and I will probably, I don't know, I might show a little footage from the car on the way home with them. Bye. Who wants to be in the video before we take off? PB, I missed you so much. He said, I'm ready to get home. He has his little bandana, yellow bandana on. Did you have fun at the hotel? Aw, you're such a good boy. Okay. Do you see Boo Radley? Hi, honey. They were so excited to see me. Come here. You don't want to come up here? Do you guys want to see what they look like? They're all groomed. Oh, no. Hi, Mr. Boo Radley. Look at Tucker. How are you, honey? Tukey. Are you guys ready to go home? You are? Okay, you know what we do. We lay down and we go home. So, anyway. Okay, I will see you guys in a little while. Bye. Okay, I am leaving Tanya's. And, I had left. And then her phone, I saw her phone on the floor, and I was like, ugh. So I went back to bring her phone. It's 2 o'clock in the morning. I left my house at like 12:30, and I was just gonna go vlog, because I have to meet up with a sober friend at 10 a.m., which is real early for me. But Tanya texted me and was like, what are you doing? I was like, why are you up? And she said, she's like, I took a nap and I fell asleep. And I was like, well, you want to get a fountain pop? And so she was like, yeah, sure. So I went and got her, and we drove around and solved the world's problems. That's what we call it. We talked about all kinds of stuff. It's been a really, really introspective night for me. I don't know why, like, this may be kind of a deep vlog tonight, and I honestly don't know how long it'll go. My camera has been giving me shit all day today. It seems like it's getting worse and worse each day. Today I did my videos like in reverse order than I usually do. I did my booktube video first, and then I did my drama video. And my drama video, my camera stopped 3 times while I was filming it. And I was so frustrated by the time that I was done with it. I like waited a half an hour, and then I filmed my Peterisms video. And I'm just like, I can't even film my videos. And it's interesting, like when I read things about it online, it says like, oh, the Sony Alpha is known to do this and yada, yada, yada. Well, my old camera never did this. Like it would last, I could film for a half an hour just fine. No problems whatsoever. Now I go like 10 or 12 minutes and it cuts off. But then other days it'll go 22 minutes, 27 minutes. There's no rhyme or reason to it. I cannot figure it out. I don't know, maybe I have the settings different than I used to. I don't know what it is. So I can't figure it out. I do not have the time to go tomorrow. I have stuff to do all day tomorrow. Tanya and I go to our meeting tomorrow night. We were supposed to have marriage counseling, but our counselor canceled tonight because he has some event he has to go to. So we're going to go next week instead. But maybe I can go on Wednesday to Best Buy and, I don't know, check in. I don't know what I want to do about the camera. I just, to be honest with you, I just don't even want to have to deal with it. I'm very much the kind of person that, like, if I buy something, I just want it to work, you know? Like, you spend your kind of money, it should just work. And so then I get kind of bitchy about it, but damn it! That's not a lot to ask for, is it? Just to have something work in this world? So anyway, Alex came home tonight, and we watched we watched Vogue. We watched RuPaul's Drag Race Reunion, and then we watched 2 episodes of Pose. So if you guys don't know what Pose is like a fictionalized version of the documentary Paris is Burning, kind of. It takes place in like the late 80s in New York City, and it follows like different houses, like ball houses. So the balls are like the underground way that they would like do drag, and like it wasn't really just about drag, but it was a lot of different things. And it deals with a lot of trans issues, a lot of LGBT issues. But one of the things that it deals with a lot on the show is HIV. And one of the whole episodes that we watched, well, it was interesting because this kind of goes back before this, but the whole idea of family of origin versus family of choice came up on RuPaul's Drag Race. But then that's kind of like a theme on Pose as well, that they kind of recreate these families, which are the houses that live together, and there'll be like a mother of the house and things like that. And you know, it's an interesting concept, and I don't think it's just exclusive to gay people. But I think that when I came out, it was a term that people talked a lot about, because more so back then, there's still a lot of cases of this today, but more so back then than today, you know, people would come out to their families and they'd be disowned immediately. Whole towns would disown people, you know? And it still happens today. I mean, did you guys ever see the documentary Bridegroom? Like that took place in Indiana, actually. That his parents were from Indiana, and I had friends of mine that actually went to high school with him, the guy that died. That whole documentary was done so well. But you know, that's a fear that a lot of us have lived with, you know, is that, well, if we got sick or if we had to go to the hospital, you know, they wouldn't let our boyfriends or our partners. And whenever you see that in a TV show, it's like one thing to see it in a movie or a TV show. It's another thing to actually go through it, right? And I've actually like gone into the hospital or had a boyfriend go into the hospital where they're not talking to their families ever. I'm the main person they talk to on a regular basis. But when I go into the hospital, I've been treated in the past like nobody. And they'll say, like, who's next of kin? And I'll say, well, I'm the next of kin. And they'll say, well, who are you? Well, I'm his boyfriend. This, not with Alex and I, but in previous relationships. And they'll say, you know, well, are you really then you're not really their next of kin. We need to know a family member. And I'll say, well, they're not. Here, I'll give you a name, but it's not somebody that they really talk to on a regular basis. If it wasn't for my father working in the hospital that I've had to go to before, that my exes have to go to before, I don't think there were times that I would have even been allowed the visitation procedures that I was allowed. And but I will say this, I have been really pleasantly surprised at times how compassionately people have treated me. But when I first came out, you know, it was like we talked a lot about families of origin, which are our birth families that we're born into, versus families of choice, which are people that we choose to call our families because we spend time with them, we're with them a lot, things like that. And so the shows are very interesting, but at the same time, it was making me think a lot about, like, the people that I was really close to when I came out. And, you know, there was, I don't know, I came out when I was 18, so from 18 to 22, 23, even when I got sober, I ran with, like, the same group of, you know, 6 or 7 people. And they were very much a family to me, you know. And the thing is, watching Pose tonight, they did a whole episode all about HIV. Like, there's the backdrop of HIV because, you know, that was, they kept on referring to it as a plague in the show, and I had kind of forgotten that, you know. And there's a great documentary on Netflix, I think it's still on Netflix, called How to Survive a Plague, that is all about the AIDS crisis. The thing is that you can't really explain what it's like to somebody unless you've lived through it. And there was this scene when one of the characters gets sick, and his, like, mother is, like, the house mother is, like, feeling his neck for, like, his lymph nodes. And I kind of, like, I went like that, and Alex said, what? He was like, why is she doing that? And I said, why is she feeling his lymph nodes? Because a lot of times people that, like, are new with HIV, their lymph nodes swell and things like that. He goes, oh, really? And it was weird, you know, that like from a generational point of view, like Alex wouldn't even know that. And that was something that we lived. I mean, I would constantly check my lymph nodes, you know, when I was younger, you know, and Alex and I were talking about our experiences of being tested and things like that. And I don't know, it was a different world that we lived in, you know. In 1991 or 92, you know, when I was out, and if you were diagnosed as HIV positive, you saw it as a death sentence. And a lot of the people that I know that got diagnosed with HIV back then are still alive, but a lot aren't. And it's weird because I was thinking about this like in reference to my birthday, you know, this week, and there was a lot of times, not just with that, but with the drugs and the alcohol and everything, that I really just didn't think that I would ever see this age. I just, you know, I'm gonna be 46 on Friday, and there's a, you know, a part of me that's like, God, you're getting older, and then there's the other part of me that's like celebrating that I made it. I mean, honestly, it's like, with the drugs and the alcohol, I really didn't think I would make it out alive. I really didn't. I thought I would end up dead. And I don't know, I'm just, there's a nostalgia about that time to me. There's a lot of people that I miss. I will say that I know more people that have died from drugs of that time period. Whole groups of friends of mine that are gone. But then I've had more friends that I've known that have died of drugs than I have had from AIDS. I think the attitude towards HIV is what scares me a lot today, you know. It's like sometimes we forget the devastation that something causes, and we kind of lose respect for the fear. And I know that like the younger generation is really into, you know, practicing unsafe sex, and I don't know that the LGBTQIA plus community is gonna make it out a second time. I just don't know, you know what I mean? Like, but like watching it tonight, I was like, I just, you know, sometimes it's kind of like baffling to me that I'm here. Like, that was never my issue. That was never my story. Because I guess I thought, you know, you live a reckless life and you think that's part of what's going to go along with it. And it wasn't. And I remember coming out to my mom, you know, like, I remember that conversation so vividly. I can see her sitting there in the kitchen, at the kitchen table, and we were like eating dinner, and it was my birthday dinner, because I came out on my 18th birthday. So, you know, what is that, 28 years almost that I've been out this Friday. God, there's people like out everywhere, people fishing off the dock or off the bridge. It's crazy. But I remember her saying to me, I'm really scared for you. And I said, oh, Mom, I'll be safe, you know, I won't get AIDS. And she said, I'm not worried about that. And you know, I think back on my mom's understanding of that. Like, she was so far ahead of, both of my parents were, just so far ahead of everything. One time I said something to my dad this was when I was like smoking really heavily cigarettes, and I said to him something about being scared of ending up HIV positive, and he said, you need to worry about dying of lung cancer before you need to worry about dying from AIDS, because that's going to kill you a lot sooner. And, just like the reality of that, or, the fact that like my parents, I can remember in high school, like when I would ask questions like to my dad about, HIV and AIDS, and he would say, there's so much ignorance that goes along with it, and once it's airborne, it's dead. And, he just, both of my parents were just, I don't know, so educated on it, if that, I don't know, and talked about it openly. Like, we talked about it. It wasn't like, I look back on that and I think it's strange that, even when I was like in high school, my mom and I would have conversations at dinner. Like, I remember those movies that started coming out, around that time, and we would like talk about it, and she would say, well, I saw this article today, or I saw this, man on Donahue or something, we would talk about it, and she'd say, well, what do you think about that? And I don't know, and maybe in retrospect, that was her way of asking me if I was gay, but I think like she was so surprised, she acted like she was so surprised, I don't know, even like when she was in the hospital towards the end, before she went in the coma, she was like, I'm just so surprised that people, know that you're gay. I'm like, Mom, seriously? The yellow light is on, so it may just stop. But I remember on my birthday, when I came out to her, I said, told her I was gay. Well, first I said I was bisexual, then she said, oh, Peter. But she said, I'm scared for you. And I said, I thought she was talking about AIDS, and she said, I'm not worried about that. If that's what ends up happening, we'll deal with it. We'll deal with it. She said, I'm worried about how society is going to treat you. Society is not kind to gay people. And I think with that one small statement, my mom saved my life. There's been many situations in my life that I could have been very dangerous had I pushed limits and boundaries with somebody. I've had a lot of people come for me when I'm just like, hey, dude, like, it's not that big of a deal, and I walk away from a situation. Not all the time, but I've had those situations in my life, late at night in the gas station. I don't need to fight everybody that wants to call me the F name. You know what I mean? Sometimes I think that's something that comes with getting older, is you realize, A, that you got to pick your battles, and B, I said that in my drama channel video today. A, you gotta pick your battles, and B, it's like, I just don't have the same kind of investment that I had 20 years in that word, Those words that we use oppressively towards other people, well, I don't use those words, but words that people use oppressively towards other people says a lot more about them than it does, I was talking with a friend of mine recently, and I had helped her, with another friend one night. This was long before our friend ever got sober, and she was drunk in a bar, and like my friend was like, I can't get her, I don't know what to do, and so like I went to go help her with the whole situation. But anyway, this person's very like anti-gay now. Like, they, instead of coming into a 12-step program, they found religion, and they're extremely religious, and they have issues with gay people and stuff. And what's interesting was, I was saying, like, that wouldn't make me not help that person. Like, just because they look down on people that are gay wouldn't make me look down on that person or not help them in their time of need, because I don't know what got them to how they feel that way. But I truly believe you don't change anybody's opinion about you or who you are or what makes you up by fighting them or shoving it in their face. I think the way that we change people, and I think the way that we change opinions, is to show people that we're all sharing a human experience, and that I am no different than you are. I love a different way, but in a similar way. And I have the same trials and tribulations as you. I grieve the same way. I hurt the same way. I bleed the same way. You know, I cry the same way. I laugh the same way. Our human experiences are similar. And I think when people get that, I have received so many messages from people. I cannot even tell you the countless emails I've received from people that have said, you know, I'm an evangelical Christian, or I'm Pentecostal, and I've watched your videos, and, you know, like, or I grew up this way, or I grew up Southern Baptist, and you and your husband are so much like my boyfriend and I, and, you know, we watch you every night together as a couple, and you really make us think about things, and thank you. And, you know, I never would have seen gay people as human beings that have the same life as we do, and unless you were telling your story. And, you know, and so I really believe that's how we help one another. No, and that's why I'm starting my Storytime channel. So if you don't know, I'm starting a new channel I had kind of talked about on here earlier, where I'm going to have you guys tell your stories and videos, because I think the more we share our stories, whatever our stories are, the better we can understand somebody, you know, and not cast judgment, you know, or pass judgment, and not assume that we understand what's best for somebody else, or understand what they're going through, or assume that we know what they're going. We don't. You know, and then I'm not the representative for the gay community. Like, I'm just one story. Everybody's story is completely different, you know? And so, I think that's why it's so important that I really, like, press the idea that your story, no matter what it is important. And, I don't know. I was just watching that show tonight, and it really got me thinking. It got me thinking about my friends from the past, and where, I don't know where any of them are hardly, you know? Where are they now? And these people that meant so much to me, these people that saved my life, you know, they accepted me at face value. They made me feel good about myself. They were fun. They embraced me. They made me feel like I was the life of the party, you know? They, you know, held me when I was down and when I was crying. We grieved friends together. We cried together. We supported one another. And, you know, I look back on that, and I think it was a different generation. I think Desert Storm played a huge part of that as well. You know, when I look back on this gay movement that was occurring in the early 90s, this liberating period of coming out of this AIDS crisis, and people wanting to get back their sexual freedom, being scared at the same time that Desert Storm was going on, you know? And don't ask, don't tell. And we were living in this weird time in the world, and then we came out of that, you know, into kind of this grunge mentality of fuck society, and then are liberated by people like Madonna, and then a generation later like Lady Gaga, who tell us to be who we want to be and live the most fabulous life possible. And when you've grown up through those generations, and you see how all of this has affected you, and then you wake up and you're like, and I made it, you know? I'm okay today. I got a husband and some dogs, I'm okay. And no, my life isn't super exciting, and I'm very thankful that it's not. Because I have everything today that I fought my whole life for. I have the relationship I fought for. I have the acceptance of my relationship, and I have family. I get to do something I love to do on a daily basis. I have all of you guys out there, and, you know, and I'm a believer that all of it in my life led me to this point, you know? And so I can go into 46 with just absolute joy, knowing that I made it, you know? But I've also been thinking a lot about what 46 is going to look like. So I'm at 24 minutes and 17 seconds. I'm going to let the camera take a break for a second and cool down, because if I don't, it's just going to shut off. And I will be back in just a second. Okay, my camera is actually still a little bit warm, which I think is interesting. So we'll see if it goes for a while. I'm trying to closely pay attention to it so I kind of know like what's going on with it. But it was interesting as I was sitting there watching this show tonight, and I was thinking a lot about who I was, you know, when I was 19 or, you know, 20 and out and free, and, you know, and there are pieces of the show that I really, really related to from back then. And it was interesting because I was like, today I'd gone to Einstein Bagels to get bagels. And when I was standing there waiting for them to prepare them, there's like a newspaper called the Broderpool Gazette. And it had like the high school like reunion, like joint reunion of all these years. And it was like all these older women. And it had their names with the like the high school class they graduated in. My mom graduated in 61 and my aunt graduated in 59. Well, all of these women were like from 56 to like 64. So they were people that would have like known my mom in high school. And I was sitting there and I was thinking to myself, I wonder what they would say today. Like, you know, if I said, oh, did you know my mom and whatever, like what they would say about my mom and my aunt. And so when I was watching the show, like that was still in my mind. And I was thinking to myself, like who were you at that time? Like, what did your life speak of? And, you know, what were the things that meant something to you? And what are the things that mean something to you today? And, you know, the reality is, to some degree, out of wanting to be more compassionate, more kind, and more caring, there's pieces of myself that I feel that I've kind of, I don't even know that I want to use this word, but I'm going to use it. So, like, I've been a sellout a little bit because I was feisty in my younger years, you know? I was definitely feisty and stood up for things that I believed in. I still do that today, but I do it in a much different way than I did back then. And I was very, you know, like every day I get up anymore and I put on a black t-shirt and, you know, a pair of cut-off jean shorts, and that's very much just my costume for the day, so to speak. And the reality is a lot of that is because of weight, you know, so it's easier for me to just put on something that's comfortable. And, you know, I used to always have record players playing in the background or tape cassettes. There's always music playing in my house. And I think, you know, as a result of just being able to turn on the TV and turn on a movie, even though I listen to a lot of music in my car, I've kind of gotten away from all of that, you know, and always like had candles and incense lit, and just there, I think there was, to some degree, I lived a little bit more in the moment back then than I do today. Like really just of enjoying the moment, you know? And I was thinking about that and I was like, that is who I want to be going forward. And that's a reason why, like, I've got to get on this weight shit, you know, because I miss enjoying style and I'm not talking about, you know, going into Zara or Macy's and buying an outfit off the rack. I'm talking about, like, I love vintage clothes shopping and Western shirts and, you know, having fun with style and vintage concert t-shirts and all that kind of stuff. And, you know, I never wear those clothes because they're just sitting in my closet. They've been sitting up there for years. And really now what's in my area of stuff that I use every day are the hanging clothes I never touch. The other clothes are just, I now have replaced all of those clothes with clothes that fit me because I only want clothes that fit, that are comfortable. And so I was like, okay, these are the goals for 46. Like, I want to get back into the best body I've ever had. This is where the gossip threads go crazy. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know. I like, whenever you get on video and talk about your weight, 50 people want to have opinions. Have your opinions. I'm very self-aware of my eating habits and what's not healthy about it, and processed foods and calorie. I understand all of that. Trust me, I do. I just sometimes don't give a fuck, to be quite frank. You know, like, I just don't. Like, sometimes it's more enjoyable for me to eat what I want to eat sitting there watching TV shows with my husband. But at the end of the day, if what I really enjoy is the clothes and being excited about outfits together, then, and that expressed my soul, and what's keeping me from being able to do that is my weight, because I can't fit into those clothes and it's not comfortable, then I need to do something about that. You know, on top of it being a health issue and all that kind of stuff. But, so that's one thing. But the other thing is that, like, I feel like, even with a lot of my friends in my personal life, I let a lot of shit fly that I probably shouldn't, like, let fly. I'm not talking about my close friends that you guys know about. I'm talking about people that I never mention on videos because they're just more acquaintances or people that we go out to dinner with from time to time. But, like, I let a lot of stuff fly that I just don't think is okay for me to let fly anymore. You know, just offensive comments, or, you know, I don't know, just jokes that aren't appropriate. And I don't want to be the most serious person in the room. That's not what I'm saying. I'm just saying I'm not okay to sit there anymore while somebody tells a joke that's offensive. I'm just not. You know what I mean? And I'm at a point in my life where, quite frankly, what I stand for and what my life stands for is more important to me than the quantity of friends that I have. It just really is. And I'm not saying that I'm going to get rid of people, but I'm just not willing to put myself in situations where I'm going to walk away and have a bad taste in my mouth over a conversation. You know what I mean? Like, I want my life to stand for something. And most days that I look in the mirror at the end of the day, I'm pretty proud of what I've done or the way that I've behaved. I'm a work in progress. We all are, I think. That there are things that we all need to work on and correct. But, you know, that being said, I think, like, I do a pretty good job of, I don't know, for me, awareness is such a big part of it that it isn't always about correcting the behavior. It's about being the fact of being aware that the behavior exists. Do you know what I mean? It's like, if you hurt somebody's feelings and you're aware of it and nobody has to tell you, you just know, and then you try to clean that up. Like, I think that's important. But I feel like I have people in my life that are never aware of how they affect other people, and they don't really care, you know, at the same time. And to me, those are some of the most toxic people, because they just don't really give a rat's ass about anybody else. They're just, nobody else is on their radar whatsoever. So, you know, I'm not saying that I have to do some cleanup of a friend list. That's not what I'm saying at all. I'm saying that, you know, I think going into 46, you know, coming up now, I'm on the tail end of going towards 50. It's like, I want to live my best life. I want positive people around me. I want people that at least are aware of what they're saying and doing, and, you know, oh, hey, I'm sorry, like, I shouldn't have said that, you know, like that. I'm cool with that stuff. You know, we all say shit we shouldn't say, but none of us is perfect. But when people just are arrogant and entitled, and they don't really even understand that they're hurting somebody or affecting somebody, I don't need that in my life, you know? I don't know, I just want to live a really colorful, fun life, full of music and travel with my husband and great dinners out and wearing fun clothes and continue. I mean, I just have such a great life, you guys. I cannot express how much. It's like, I was looking earlier on the video that I posted today, and I made a comment about the wolf pack, because I love the wolf pack. You guys know that. And I said, everybody leave a blue heart below. And, like, so many people left blue hearts, and I just love that. Like, the blue hearts make me so happy. So if you made it to this part of this vlog, leave a blue heart. But the blue hearts make me so happy, you know, because to some degree it's like, this unity of this idea of understanding that, hey, we're just all going through it together. You know what I mean? Like, we're just trying to get by. We're just trying to exist in this world and make it a little bit of a friendlier place and get along a little bit better. It's just not that deep, you know? It really isn't. And I think as you get older, life gets a lot simpler. I think it's less complicated. I really do. And I think that what you realize is that your output and your input can be pretty equal. But it also depends on who you choose to surround yourself with, and family even included in that, you know, and what you want your life to stand for and things like that. So, I don't know. I've got a lot of things I'm thinking about as I go into 46, and I always get really kind of introspective right before my birthday. And since my birthday's on Friday, expect a birthday vlog of me talking about past birthdays and, you know, things I want to achieve going forward more specifically and things like that. So, but I'm going to listen to my audiobook for about 10 minutes before I head home and go to bed. So I'm going to sign off here. I love you guys. I did that twice, 2 nights in a row. And I will see you tomorrow. Good night. Bye.